Well, the main challenge, we are looking at the mid-market space of the private equity. So typically, it's going to be find the good GPs, and some countries already have many of them, and in other countries, I would say, for example, Chile, there are probably fewer of them. So the sourcing and the identification is going to be the biggest challenge, I think, in these countries.
Well, I mean, we at Frequent, we're a data provider, so we're covering the globe, and the challenges are, kind of boiling the ocean, collecting all that data and putting it on a database and making it useful for people. And I think the challenges are that, just as the search for alpha, the search for returns is being cast wider than ever. So GPs are having to look at deals, in new industries of new types, in new parts of the capital structure, all around the world. So LPs are having to consider more GPs, more funds, more opportunities. So it's an ever more complex world, and the need for data, thank goodness, being a provider of data, is only going up.
The main challenge in Brazil, for sure, and I guess is also the case for emerging markets private equity in general, is to make sure that in addition to financial capital, we also are able to introduce human capital to the companies we invest in. So human capital is a huge challenge. So the winners of this game are going to be the ones that put capital to work, but also find a way that with that capital to attract better talent. So talent is a real shortage. Education gaps in the emerging markets are still very significant. So the ability to attract, in addition to financial capital, human capital is going to be a decisive point for the future.
I think the main issue for our markets as such, and if I can talk about fundraising on the one side, is that not enough international investors understand how to rate risk in our markets. They don't understand what is really true risk and what is just simply illiquidity. And I would argue illiquidity doesn't equate to risk as such. It equates to private equity, and they're used to that in their other markets, bluntly put. Secondly, I think on the general partner side of things, and a lack of understanding on what a strong institutional investor is looking for in terms of best-in-class practice, and to be able to articulate that. I think that's a real concern, and that's where fundraising on both sides of the fence becomes very difficult. On the one side, you have an uneducated investor who's really trying to get up a steep learning curve a lot of the time, and on the other side, general partners that don't know how to talk into that investor and to really speak their language, and that bridge needs to be crossed.
Well, I'm probably not going to be the only one saying this, but fundraising is a real challenge. The risk perception of frontier emerging markets is high, which makes fundraising a time-consuming and inefficient process. I am encouraged, though, by the appetite that institutional investors show after you spend time educating them, making them comfortable with the proposition. There is movement happening, and the opportunities are ample. So the fundraising side is more a challenge than the investment side at this point in time.